Hi, my name is Olga and this is Expert Zone Talks. Today we will talk with Cezary. Hi, Cezary.
Hello, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Are you happy?
Yeah, as usual.
Okay, believe you. Today we will speak about Product Discovery Workshop. What is this and who needs it? So let's go. Let's watch intro. Cezary, let's start?
Of course, let's go.
Okay.
Hit me.
So what is Product Discovery Workshop?
Product Discovery Workshops is a workshop, so it's quite of self-explanatory. I would say that it's a place where the business needs and business intelligence meets with the technical support from the tech side and the dev side. So it's a place where your expectations as a business owner or product owner trying to catch up with all the stuff that is technically possible to achieve or how it is supposed to be done and what are we gonna do in what priorities. It's a place when you can when you expect to deliver some stuff in some kind of scope, and we will check how it is done, which technology we should pick, what time scope we'll deliver it. So basically, yeah, it's a place when you can find how it's done and when will be done.
So it is a necessary stage on the very beginning of the development process, right?
Basically, yes, we can say that is quite necessity. I wouldn't say so that is must have, but without it, you will have a lot of more troubles. The main stuff we do in the discovery workshops is to identify all of the risk, trying to find out that your target group is correctly specified, that your expectations from the app, and we create Canvas Go model, which will identify the target groups, like I mentioned before, find out that what is the part of the market you can target on to achieve a bigger success. So basically we use our knowledge of the market, our knowledge of tech development, and trying to pick the best solution that will be created for your needs, specifically for the expectation you have on the market and what do you want to achieve. So we trying to figure out the best way for a product to achieve success on the market.
If you need help with your project, you can always contact us via contact form on...
If you have any basic questions, like the basic stuff that you really want to know, like how we do this, when we do this, you can always reach to us on the frontend.house.com. On the frontendhouse.com and to the contact form and ask our questions. I will be happy to support you.
Links are in the description.
Or here.
The next my question is, who needs this workshop? Who is it perfect?
Basically, we create the workshops plan for everyone. So when we know what your problem is, we'll create the plan that will fit your needs. So basically, if you are at the beginning of your road, so you're kind of a startup or small company that have some idea, or maybe you're the old company that already exists on the market, but you're trying to digitalize your needs or your market share, trying to catch up someone in the internet. So if you are at the start of your road, this is a good turning point for you to reach to us, because when we are at the beginning, there is the small margin for mistakes. So if we will have such information at the beginning of your road, then it will be easier to target the needs, identify the risk, trying to prioritize, going through the MVP and target the MVP. So basically the start is a great idea. The second option is trying to grow your application. So you already have something, you're trying to make it bigger, you're trying to conquer some other stuff, you're trying to conquer other parts of the market. Mm-hmm. So there is an always good idea to go through it. I would say that we mainly target the product, but I've encountered some kind of projects also in my history, and it worked well, because basically when we create the personas, after creating personas, we're creating the basic milestones. So we're trying to work on the backlog and trying to create some kind of epics. Depends. This is why this product discovery is quite important, because we will always select the methodology, because Scrum is not always good. So we will choose some kind of other methodologies. We will figure out the way to measure your targets. So we will also use the ABM techniques, which I mentioned in my previous podcast.
Yeah, you can watch the previous podcast with Czarek here.
On my forehead.
As always, yeah.
So yeah, basically, if you're trying to open something new, or when you even have a struggle with delivering your current projects, so maybe, I would say that it's always a great time to start over. I know that it requires a lot of, a business knowledge to understand that we're going wrong way and we have to start from the scratch. So this is always the best way. Sometimes there is not need to start over. We can just try and figure out what you already did and revisit this, measure it again, trying to figure out what went wrong. So yeah, I would say for almost every step except of the closing steps, it's a good idea to try again and go reach out to us. But basically, the best way to gain as much as we can from those workshops is when you try to start from the beginning, as soon as possible, probably. So, not extremely as soon as possible, because when you have idea, I want to start a new Facebook, this is not a good idea to go to us when you just have idea. But yeah, if you only have idea, we can just still give you support to write this idea into some kind of plan, and then figure out the way of doing the next steps, like creating documentation and some planning phases. So basically, yeah, it's for everyone. And if you're asking for the personas, then I would say the product owners, the stakeholders, sponsors, managers of the high level, they are the people who should make such a decision. But I always believe that they have acknowledged the business as much, so they will, they should know it, how much of a value it is for their product or for their company.
So it doesn't matter if you are a startup on the beginning of your way or you're more advanced business. You can always...
Yeah, you will always find there's something that you will gain from this. So, like I said, we trying to be as agile as we can. So we'll try to find the best way for your current needs to be achieved during the product workshops.
What are the stages of the Discovery Product Workshop?
So yeah, it's again a tricky question because there is no specific way, there is no one good way of the product workshops to be done. It depends of your needs. So if I have to give you an answer, so just a quick, basic one, then the beginning is the meeting with some kind of representation from your side and the people who will be engaged from our side. So most of the times we offer you the support of our technical leader, Krzysztof, which you already know from our previously podcasts. You already know him. So this is the one person. He is quite important because he's the responsible for choosing the technologies, the way, the architecture. It's also quite important because the time you will spend on choosing the technology, the best technology, requires a lot of knowledge. So we can speed up the process by using our experience, which is highly great in this field. So yeah. Krzysztof or some kind of technical leader, we will always give you the support of project manager from our side, so person who is responsible for the scope and the way the methodology will be delivered, and the team we will collect for them. There is a lot of stuff. Our graphic is someone who is expert in the UX field, because as always we start from the UX, and someone who is have a big understand. Except of the UI, I would say the design thinking is quite necessary here. So yeah, I would say this with the team. And the first step we will cover is getting as much as we can from your head. So understanding the project, the concept, the value you're trying to deliver, the whole monetization stuff. So how do you want to earn money from your application? If you want to earn money, of course. So this is the basic question, the first question. To be honest, we have prepared the basic matrix with the questions. There's 70 questions that are quite, frankly speaking, basics of the understandable, to give us the knowledge of understand from where you're going, right? So the technologies, if you have someone, because you might already have concept of which technology you want to use. So this is the one thing. Yeah, so the basic stuff. Second one is to creating the personas, which is quite important for us to understand which are your targeting group, so who you're going for, who is your typical user, I would say, who is the less typical user. This is, from my perspective, is quite important. I see how important it is for the development team to understand for who we are creating such a feature. It's easier for them to understand and find a better solution, because if we work in Scrum, you have to be aware that you have to know what's the best way to solve the problem. And if you know who are you targeting already, then you can find the best solution. So there is, when you have a aware team in the middle of development, they can understand like this is not going to work for this person. So we will always have this red button that will allow us to stop delivering something that is not necessary for the client, or will just not fulfill his needs. So this is quite important. So yeah, personas. After personas, obviously we're creating the user stories that are targeting specific person, specific personas. The user stories based on personas we already created. The next step is to prioritize your needs. So we targeting the MVP. Probably always we targeting the MVP, even if it's not the start of your application. We are targeting what's the value of your product and what's the minimum we have to create for your application to go on the market and start earning some money.
By the way, you can watch an interview with Chris about MVP if you need more information.
Yes, it's quite important, to be honest, because MVP is the start of everything. So we will try to prioritize your needs and your features from the most important ones to the additional ones. We're trying to select without which one the application will not work and will not fulfill any needs. So at this stage, we're also trying to figure out what's the base, what's the first step, what's the most used part of the application. So it is also quite important from the perspective of a developer, because when we are creating storybooks, for example, we know which components needs to be created first. If we work in React, for example, when there is some kind of components, then we can figure out which way to start so we can plan a better work. So yeah, this is the next step. Which will be the next step? I think the Canvas Go model, which is also helpful. This is the stuff we create. Most of the time we create that outside of the workshop. So this is the part of the workshop. The discussion goes into the workshops, but the document you will receive, we need time to create it. So basically gathering the information is the most important part here. And the point of focus from our perspective is to understand your product. And then always there is other meetings, there is other calls, that will make us fulfill your needs and understand how to create the documentation and the documentation that will give you a value.
Did you have a situation when clients came to you with the idea and then realized that it has no sense?
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's quite a fragile topic, because we try to work with people who love their product because they share similar type of passion that we share for the development. So it's never a situation when you can tell the person like it doesn't make sense, because every idea have a sense if you love it and if you put enough energy into this, you can achieve your goals. So I would never say that there is a situation we say like just don't do it, it doesn't work, because it shouldn't be like that. There is always a way. From our side, we're trying to say that this is not supposed to be the main point of focus in your application, I would say. So we're trying to figure out the best way to reach some kind of targeting groups that will help you guarantee your success. And so yeah, this situation shouldn't occur ever, I would say. There could, never say never, but we're always trying to find the best way to solve it.
Next question. How to prepare for the product discovery workshop, or answering those 70, right?
Yeah,
questions is
more
enough?
or less. I mean, not really. This is just the first step. So this is just like the basic stuff you have to fulfill before we even start the conversation, because we will save the time. Money is the time. So we can answer our basic questions without our interference, then you save the money. So it's always better information for us on the other hand. So we're always focusing on some kind of business value, the return of the investment you will put when you're trying to give us these product workshops. So we always thinking about the business value on the first place. So not really. I think that the most important stuff that you have to know is to collect as much information from your product that you have in your head and give the information to us. You have to have as much as possible the knowledge about the market, your competition on the market, how big of the share market value you can hit on. You don't have to know the answers to this question, but you have to think about it, because this is the question we were gonna ask to you. We always do some kind of research. We're trying to answer that. We have some knowledge about some kind of markets, like the IoT. We have great competencies, so we know a lot of, before we even start the conversation, we have a big knowledge into this into this topic. The communication is a finances, even the healthcare. There are some topics that we already understand, and the whole e-commerce stuff. It's also give us some kind of advantage, because we create so many projects in these fields that we already have the knowledge, so we can help you with our experience. But the main topic and the thing we discussed on the workshops is to exchange our experience. So we have to know what you know. Most of the times, the people who come to us with some kind of idea and create it in their head, so they know when they want to target, what they have, how much money they have. So we already know this information, and we can exchange our experiences. So we can say, like, okay, some people before you try this, and this is the risk you will have to face. So because we did it already, we know that this is the trouble, some kind of the cultural even influence on your market, the markets you're trying to target. So there is a different laws. If you're trying to target the Asian market, you have to understand there is other fonts there, the language, the whole culture there is different from the European one. Same goes to the West culture. So and even the laws, the data protection laws that are still constantly changing in the Europe, the restriction goes far beyond our understandable needs. So yeah, this is the stuff. We are on time with them, we understand them, we can help you with them, but you have to think from our perspective that what questions we can ask. That's why you receive the questions. You don't have to answer them even, you don't have to fulfill this whole Excel stuff. You just have to think about it, because this is the most important stuff that will allow us to give you the best advice we can.
And maybe more workshops are needed on the further process of development, or we need only one product discovery workshop on the beginning of our development?
I mean, it's a hard question. There's no good answer for it. Because if you create the first phase of the workshop, the discovery workshop, we can end, because when we gonna do another workshops later in the future, they are not going to be product discovery, because we already discovered the product. We can rediscover it in the future, but there is a whole different scene there. So basically, the product discovery workshops are at the beginning, at the start, when we're trying to understand the products, where we're going with it. Most of the times there's no need to create another one, but yeah, we always trying to engage the product owners from the client side to reach to us with some questions, because most of the time when we create these workshops, the product discovery, we are gathering the knowledge that is needed for the beginning, for the targeting, so we're understanding the way we are going. From my past experience, the project managers from the client company are reaching out to me on the LinkedIn, for example, and they have questions like, what's the next steps? We already achieved our MVP, what we should do next. So most of the times there is no need, because we're trying to give you as much knowledge as we have in the creating the product. So basically, you will know what to do next. If you don't know, you can always reach to us if there is a big project, right? Because the products are different. Like I say, for example, you're creating new Instagram, so there might be a need for another workshop, another round of workshops, because we're just trying to put the product on the phases. So we also create some kind of roadmap, and we reach the phase 1, we reach the MVP. And then there is a time to do another market research, trying to figure out, this is why the ABM is quite important now, because we have to challenge ourselves to understand if we are reaching our goal. If we are not reaching them, what needs to be changed. The experiment on this phase is a necessary stage, so we did not miss it. But if there is a need, I would say no, there is no need. There might be a need, but most of the times you will have all the knowledge you should have at this stage to give yourself another round of the brainstorming and understanding what we're going through. So yeah, we'll give you the questions that you need to ask to yourself, so you will know what to do next. So most of the times there is no need. If there is a need which is justified by the situation of your projects, we can always arrange such a workshops, but there will be not a product discovery workshops.
Okay, so I understand now. If you have more questions, you can ask here in comments, and Czarek will answer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, no problem. You can reach out to me directly or through the comments, no problem.
I think that's it. Thank you for the interview. High five.
Thank you,
It
Olga.
was great. You can watch other videos on our channel, and see you next time.